The Flash, issue 31, legacy number 831, Ryan North writing with Gavin Guidry on the R. So this is a new run on The Flash. We have a new team, and we hadn't been reading The Flash for a little bit. You read a couple of the tie-in issues, but that was like a... Yeah, but that was like a a team that was just for the tie-in issues. They were never sticking around for the book.
Yep.
So
it had been such a while since I had read a proper Flash run that I forgot they had a bonus kid. And I read that stuff when Wade was born. But I spaced out on Wade being a character. So that's how long it had been since I had, thought about Flash in that kind of context.
I mean, we can put a number on it. It's like 2 years, but yeah. So it's very much the first issue of a new run. It takes its time and kind of establishes the home life that Wally has. The book starts with like Linda getting ready, bringing out dinner. The kids kind of been shouted down. Wally's narrating, just kind of explaining the family. He's explaining that he's got 2 kids. He's got his wife. What her job was, what she's doing now. They've got this baby. He's wearing a Nightwing shirt just for extra points because they're trying to win us over, which is nice. And then the joke here is that he was supposed to be the one cooking the main dish of the evening, some casserole, and he did not do that. So he tries to get away with it by grabbing it and then running it outside at super speed and hoping the friction will cook it. But he doesn't flip it over halfway through. So when he brings it back, Linda's like, so the bottom is completely burned, the top is still frozen, and Wally's only response is, well, it's a bit in the middle that's probably just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very funny. I love Domestic Wally. Domestic Wally is a nice re-addition to things.
Yeah.
So him trying to cook a casserole.
Yeah, I think I just appreciate that this started off with like, we're going to do his home life, we're doing the family, we're going to show the trials and tribulations of that, and just have a bit of humor, make them likable, and then even just this idea of like, Wally's going to go around running for a bit, and Linda's like, well, get back here in 3 minutes because I'll be waiting upstairs. And my like storytelling brain said, okay, the wife's saying, hey, come back because we're going to have sex. That tells me that he's not making it back in time, and it's going to be like a sad thing. But credit to the issue, like he actually does go back. I mean, it cuts ahead, we don't see it or anything, but it cuts to the next day, which implies no, he did make it back. They did have a lovely night of passion, and all is well in the West household, and that's nice. So happy days.
So he goes to respond. Right, there's a tornado striking down in Central City. He goes, and it's Tar Pit, right? But Tar Pit's not meaning to cause problems.
No, this is a blunder. This is a little blunder on his part.
Because he picked up the weather staff from a rogue's yard sale, and it got away from him. So Wally's like, "Give me that thing. I'll fix this." And it just again it reestablishes Wally's like almost friendship with the rogues. Yeah, like they're almost like Tom and Jerry, where they're playing roles. He's like, "Look, you guys break the rules. It's my job to stop you. But how are the family?" And him conversing with Tar Pit about this and the idea of a rogue's yard sale gave me a good chuckle.
Yeah, and at the end he's like that no one got hurt. It was an accident. How about we both forget this happened, and that'll do the trick. Honestly, if there's a critique about this issue, and I don't even think it's that much of a critique, I actually really appreciate that it took the first half of the issue just to do some home life stuff, just to set up, because it's the start of a run. You can hand this to someone, not necessarily as their first ever Flash issue, but it does kind of like lead you into like, okay, what's the status quo? Who is Wally? Who's his family? Here's how he is with the rogues. But it's very much an issue of two halves, where after that scene, and he's like, I'm going back to Linda for a night of passion. At that point, there's a split, and then the actual plot of the arc starts after that, right? So there is kind of like a two sides of the issue here. And the plot of the back half is that this woman, he basically gets a vision of a woman falling off a roof, and he goes to find her. And he runs up the building and he grabs her, and he does a lot of narration here about not really understanding the science of all this that much. He just kind of accepts what it is, which is, an interesting detail. But the premise of all this is that after he saves her, she's like, "Hey, Flash, can I get a selfie?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And this is innocent enough, but she seems oddly in good spirits for someone who almost died, right? Like she's a little bit too cheery. And that's your tease, because the next day, Linda's looking at the newspaper and the classifieds, and there's an advertisement here saying, attention Flash, I'm going to jump off this building at 9 a.m. or whatever. And it's like, oh, you better get out there, Flash. And sure enough, he gets out there, he runs up the building, he saves her, or this guy in this case, the second time. And he's like, hey, can I get a selfie? He's like, you know what? No, you can't get a selfie. What's going on? Why have I done this 2 days in a row? And the guy reveals, oh, there's an app saying that they'll give us 10 grand if we like get a good footage of you saving us. And because it worked yesterday and that girl got paid, now everyone's going to try and do this. So the premise of this arc is that someone is making this app and paying people money. And it's basically going to mean that they're just going to be calling in, like Wally's going to be super busy because everyone's going to try and use him to get a payday. It's like it's nothing about. It's all like fake tragedies and fake disasters just to make a buck. And it's like, okay. I thought this was a very interesting premise, even before we get to the teases of like the mysterious villain because we get the guy who's like built the app, but he's working for someone. There's
that we can't see. Yeah. So someone in a suit behind him, face is obscured by the panel breaks.
Yeah, some shady super villain of some kind is behind it all. But I thought this is an interesting premise to me because it's like, okay, people are putting themselves in danger, and that's obviously a big deal. And Wally has to, because it's not like he can't just not save them. What's he going to do? I mean, yes, it would be effective if he let 1 or 2 people die. Everyone would stop doing it because, oh shit, he's not going to save us anymore. But he can't do that. He's a hero.
he's Wally West. He's been doing this his whole life.
Yeah, So like, oh, this is an interesting predicament. I kind of like the challenge this is posing to Wally, which is nice. And I also just really liked his reaction when he got asked for a selfie the second time, and just when he sees what the app is. I love how all of a sudden there's a lot more inks on the side of his face. There's just a bit more shadow to sort of really sell that he's kind of pissed. He's like, wait a minute, what the hell's happening here? So I appreciated that as well.
So he says, watch out how quickly I end this little fad. So now he's going out of his way to like, I'm not taking selfies with nobody. You're not gonna take advantage. You're not wasting my time. But I also like where he's like, visions. I don't get visions, right? So it also speaks that there's something going on with the Speed Force as well. Yeah, and also with the Speed Force.
Well, either Speed Force, or I wonder if the villain behind all this is making sure he's aware of them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. But I also like that he chalks up to, it's like, your old saying, Speed Force, bro. I don't have to explain anything.
Yeah, he basically says that. Yeah, at one point he's like, who cares? Speed Force.
Yeah, Speed Force, baby. But yeah, so I looked up Ryan North, and Ryan North's been doing a lot of work on Fantastic Four. So it feels like that's why the family dynamic so far, that first half, really, really nailed. And yeah, I like a lighter approach to Flash, and I feel like this had it. And the whole thing with the selfies, and what the central mystery of this is going to be. Like, what's the purpose of keeping Flash so busy, right? Saving all these people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't know the specific reason, but generally speaking, it's usually because the villain wants to get up to something and wants the hero to be preoccupied, I would suspect.
Yeah.
So there's that. Because we get a montage after he tries to like sort of tell everyone to stop doing this. The press is like, so you won't save them then? He's like, well, no, I can't just let them die. Cut to montage page of him saving people from different disasters. One guy in front of a train, more people going off a roof. Someone, actually, I got a laugh at the bottom one, actually, now I'm thinking about it. There's a guy...
Honestly, makes it worse.
Yeah, there's a guy driving with his phone out, and Wally's like running up beside the thing, and he's like, really? You're going to crash into someone for a contest? And he's like, what contest? And then he just sort of like runs off up front and puts his hands in there like Platoon and says, that makes it worse!
Yeah. That's like the one with the kids, where the kid's like, woo! He's like, no woo! This is not fun or cool. Everyone needs to stop. And as someone that works around that age group, him saying no woo, this is bad, it needs to stop. I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that in my soul. So
yeah, one of the details I liked is that he goes to research at the library on the computer to try and figure out where this app came from and who's behind it. And I like the detail that he can't use his super speed to do anything on the internet fast. Like, he can read a page fast, but a book he can speed read in like a second because he can just fly through the book page to page. But the internet, like, loading the next page on the internet is going to take the same amount of time no matter what. and he can't speed that up. In fact, it feels painful to him because he has to wait.
Yeah.
So I like that little detail, and he went to save someone while the page was low, and he's like, okay, click, run off, save someone, run back, okay, read what this says. I like that little detail.
He goes, but the internet has load times. Even a fraction of a second is interminable. So like even him, he's like impatient. Like it's even loading. It's loading too slow.
Yeah. So he finds this guy who built the website, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything illegal. Everything's fine." And Wally just has to sort of speed away, and he's like, "Oh, hey, look at this! You got a live feed here. People are about to do something stupid. You better go save them." He's like, "Well, this is not over." And then obviously the ending, teases the man in the suit who's like, "You did good, Mr. Eves." That's this guy's name. We're moving to phase 2. Phase 2, you say? What is phase 2 all about? We shall find out. But well, part of it though is they're going to offer even more money, so people are going to do more and more stupid stuff. And
they're
honestly,
upping it by 200%.
See if they really want to do like a dark beat to this story. I don't know if they want to go this dark, but the dark turn here could be that so many people are doing this to try and make money that he actually does miss one. Not because he intentionally misses them, but just because he's so busy saving, 4 other people that one slips through the cracks and dies, and that could be a really like dark part of the story here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so I feel like that's what's the worst that can happen is that he fails, right? He misses just one person.
Yep.
And then, who knows what that does to Wally. But this was a lot of fun. It's I always enjoy a Flash run, and I'll always try. So I'm glad this one hit, because I'm much more keen to read this than I was at the end of the first Spurrier. The first Spurrier issue, I was like, okay, this is getting into the technical kind of science fiction-y aspect, but this seemed more like Wally West at home dealing with Central City, typical Flash stuff, which is again more my speed.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the problem posed here, the villain's plan is a little bit unique, a little bit interesting, especially since it's a very public thing. It's one thing to try and distract the hero. It's another thing where it's like manipulating the people of the city to distract them is an interesting tactic to me, and that's kind of teasing there's going to be more of that next issue, which is cool. So I like that, and I like the focus on the family life and all that good stuff. And I love that Linda's seeing this stuff in the paper and is getting involved, and I'm curious to see how much more they get involved with more plots down the line. But this was a really good start to a new arc and a new run. It made me want to read more of it. I had never read anything by Ryan North before, but this seemingly maybe his first DC work, so not surprised, I guess. But no, and then the art by Guidry, I also think is a good fit for Flash. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes there's an argument that Flash should be a lot more kind of kinetic and a lot more whatever. But for me, when I think of classic Flash stories, I do think of it as being a bit more kind of Silver Agey and flat, I guess. And this art by Guidry kind of fits that, where it's a very nice flat red on the suit, which, by the way, we've got his proper Flash suit back, not that horrible thing he had for like a year and a half.
Yeah, with like the blacks on the sleeves.
Yeah.
And whatnot. This is traditional Wally with the... I think it even has a lightning belt, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He's got the lightning belt and everything back. So,
yeah. So,
yeah,
good stuff. Pleasant start of this. Like, I don't think every like first issue of a new arc post KO or even the new issue ones, they've not all hit been home runs by any stretch. But I think this is up there. This and New Titans last week was good stuff. So yeah. All right, what are you giving the Flash issue 31, Matt?
Maybe this is a straight 8.
Yeah, I think I even go 8.5. I'm like, maybe part of that's just me happy that I'm enjoying a Flash book again, so I'm like being a little extra nice, but I'll give it 8.5.